Welcome to the randomness that is my channel. So I think by now my friends already found this channel, and today I'm going to be showing how I made a jewelry holder tray using Daiso's 5 ringgit clay. So I'm starting off with laying a piece of plastic to protect my mom's marble table, which obviously she would be furious if she found clay things on it. So here's me opening it. So here's the thing about Daiso clay is that it's not actually 100% clay. It's actually a mixture of a sort of like stone powder with some paper fibers. So essentially, it was a really weird texture, and it's very extremely dry, and it was really hard to mold. I guess it's not clay that's meant for, like molding and stuff. So I started off with actually trying to just mold it with my hands, but that didn't work. So here's me trying to make it softer with water, which actually was a really good, which was actually a really good strategy. So first of all, we're gonna have to cut it into smaller pieces and fragments. So because surface reaction, the more it is. Okay, anyways, yeah, so here's me pouring the water into the plastic sheet because, we don't want to spill it. You gotta be very careful because it's gonna get slightly messy. So we start off with just a little water first just to soften it up, and yeah, it's gonna need a little strength over at this part. So be careful with your table, don't topple it over. So at this point, you're just gonna have to keep kneading it, add more water, knead it some more. Because you really just want to sort of like soften the clay and mix it together with the other pieces. At this point, it looks like you're gonna make roti canai. So yeah, but so it keeps going. Just check it once in a while to see how it works. So as you can see here, it's a bit of a mess. So I'm gonna add a lot more water. So that it becomes much softer, and at this point it's gonna get slightly messy, so be careful. Just keep making a roti canai out of it, I guess. Kneading it and pushing and kneading. So like I said, it's gonna take a bit of strength. So at this point I decided, well, forget the piece of plastic, I'm just gonna use my hands. So it's kind of sticky, it's kind of messy, so make sure you don't mind that messiness. So with that, we're gonna just keep kneading it until it becomes soft enough for us to actually make a shape out of it. Just keep knitting. So this thing takes a little bit of strength, so be sure to prepare yourself for that. You're gonna grow some muscles by the end of this. So at this point, the clay has already softened up enough, and occasionally I do add some water just to make it softer. And now I'm just gonna make it into a little tray-like shape. So basically, it's just a flat base with the sides turned up a bit to make a bowl shape. So you just add water whenever you want to soften up the part where you want to fold it and whatnot. And at this point it's really gonna be easy because you're just gonna be moving your hands. So right now we're already done with the clay, the bowl edges. So you can see that I'm just cleaning it up a bit, making it a little bit more even than it is. It doesn't really look like a bowl per se, but I guess the aesthetic of it is the fact that it looks a bit handmade. I don't know, but you can do it better than this, better than what I did. So yeah, I was just adding water to smoothen the surface to make sure that it doesn't have too many bumps, and it has a very nice flat top. So just add water when you need it. So at this point, it's about done. And the thing is that when you're done, you're gonna have to leave it for about a day. For me, I left it for 3 days because I didn't want to leave it outside because it was raining at the time. So it might get wet again. So I actually just left it in my living room and away from where anyone could touch it, and from there it was able to dry. So once you're done with the shape and you're satisfied with that, just leave it aside to dry for about 2 days. For me it was 3, but you could do it to how long you think it's okay for you. Now that my blue bowl is dry, I'm gonna start the design of it. I wanted to put a Capricorn star constellation design with that has black and gold accents. So I'm starting off with painting the entire bowl with black acrylic paint. You can add a little bit of water, but not too much, because if you add too much, it might actually cause the clay to get too saturated and it would actually go soft again. So be sure to just add a little water to your acrylic paint just so that you could spread it out a little bit more evenly. So be sure to get it on the sides and the rims and the edges and everything so that it would be in black in color all over. You don't necessarily have to color the base, the bottom, but if you want to, that's still fine. For me, I didn't think it was necessary because no one's gonna see it anyways. So once you're done with the bowl, you leave it to dry and it's all dried up. Next, you can work on the gold accents. So the gold accents, I got it from the gold paint I used from the gold spray paint that I bought to upcycle my mirror. So I just sprayed it on a plastic container lid, and I just started painting. So in this particular design, I wanted the edges to be in gold. So I painted the outside and the inside curve of the bowl in gold paint. So here's the thing about spray paint is that it's actually not very it doesn't really have much coverage. So that means that if you want to have a very distinct gold color, you're gonna have to go through it a few more times. Then it would actually look very strikingly gold. So you just go all over and do it as much as you like until where you think it looks good, and from there you could keep painting it. So for added effect on the bowl, I wanted to give it a little swirl. So I actually just, made a swirl paint effect on the insides of the bowl. It doesn't have to be very clean or very neat swirls. You can just take the brush and just lightly sweep it across the edges of the bowl, or where the curves are, so that it gives a nice little swirl or twirl effect. So now I was working on the Capricorn constellation because I'm a Capricorn, yeah. So I just followed this one Pinterest picture of a Capricorn constellation, and I took a very thin brush and painted the stars and lines onto the middle section of the bowl. So this is where you gotta be a bit careful, especially if you're not used to drawing lines like me. You just have to do it very lightly, very slowly, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't look perfect. It's supposed to be it's supposed to look like a hand-drawn it's a hand-drawn bowl, so the beauty of it is in the imperfections. Somebody quote that on Twitter. Thanks. So take it nice and slow and it would look great. So at this point you can just do some little touch-ups on the bowl and see what you would like to add, maybe some sparkles and whatnot, but for me I think this was more than enough. So now I'm fully done with the bowl and I think it looks great, so we're gonna leave it to dry, and then we'll see it in a better light because this was taken at night. You can see my tripod. Well, that's just about it, I guess. So here's the finished product in nice daylight and I think it looks great. Obviously I would love to have a glazing on it, but I couldn't find where you could buy those, so I'm just leaving it as it is. So yeah, this is the product and thanks for watching. Bye.